Alright, there we go. Hello. It's a stream. Oh, it is warm. We're here, alive. Stand by. I know the lighting's terrible right now, but hold on. Let me see if I can fix that. I just don't wanna. If I put the streaming lights on, it's gonna be so much warmer. But it's already too warm if I do that. Is that better? It's good enough. Today is one of those days where I'm like, I'm just gonna take it easy. I'm not gonna worry about it too much. Maybe I can mess with the webcam a bit. Anyway, hope you're doing well out there. Whoa! Oh god. It's too hot. It's too hot. Turn that off. Yeah, my frame rate will do that. Like if I hold on. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's too dark in here. Maybe I can get away with one light. Work from the other side. And then I'll see if I can make the frame rate work. Is this a webcam, you know? Alright. My frames. Let me see if I can. See, look at that. Terrible. Oh, there we go. There we go. I figured it out. Alright, I got the frames back. Hello. Oh, I know what I haven't done. I haven't turned the brightness up on my monitor. I thought something was off. Anyway, hello everybody. It's warm. Everything is fine. We're just gonna hang out and chat today because we're done with Final Fantasy 13. Oh, there we go. Can I? Ah, there we go. Now I can adjust it properly. Oh yeah, that's good. That'll do. Oh, I have some coffee. Oh, iced cold brewed coffee. Yes, give it to me. Yeah, it's not quite time for 14 yet. It will be in not too long. Yeah. We will... yeah, we'll get started with that when we... I think maybe when we get back. I'm not sure. We'll see if I want to do anything in between. I was going to look at Steam and be like, what else is there that I would want to play on stream? But I mean, I haven't played Baldur's Gate 3 in a bit, but I was playing through that. But that would be jumping in like I don't know, into I think I'm in Act 3 or at the end of Act 2. I feel like I'm in whatever. There is Expedition 33, yeah. I'm trying not to spend any more money too much really at the moment. If if I can help it, because I've realized like, oh, this will be good if I could just play Final Fantasy games and I could save myself a bit, you know. So I'm not looking to, yeah. And I think Expedition 33 is another fairly long game. Yeah. I mean, let me look at what's on my wish list. Let me sort by what's on sale on my wish list. Discount. No, Apollo Justice is 50% off at the moment. There is that. But then at the same time, I am kind of eager to get started on 14, so yeah. Yeah. Drawing? I mean, I could do something like that. It's been ages since I've really gotten back into the swing of that. Done little bits here and there on my off time, but it's hard. It's been hard mentally for me to want to get back to it, even though I'm like, I should. You know what, with the gestures broadly and everything, and particularly online with the whole, like, you know, it's not great for artists online. It's not great for artists online right now. But that should be, nor coders, nor a bunch. I mean, most people, let's be honest. But yeah, do not ask about vibe coding. Yeah, it's like, you know, that shouldn't be the concern. You shouldn't be worried about that sort of thing, or that shouldn't. But it does bother. It does get to me, and it does just kill. It killed enthusiasm for a while. So I'm trying to bring that back. You know, I'm trying to get back to that. And having a bunch of blorbos to draw does help. So there is that. Maybe 14 will help. Yeah. Bring my own. Yeah. Yeah, to feel better one must make, but a good mood is required to make. But yeah, very much so. Oh, excuse me. Something I started doing again more recently, in the spirit of this sort of thing, is I realized like I should go. I had fallen off watching episodes of Drawfee over on YouTube, and I was like, I should watch some more of that, because I was going back and watching some Game Changer episodes, and there was the one, I forget which season it was in, but it was 3 artists, one of which was Nathan from Drawfee, another was Caldwell, formerly Drawfee, now Nadpod and other stuff, and I'm blanking on the other artist's name, but they were all really good. I was like, ah man, I should check out some of the Drawfee stuff recently. And there's been some real bangers. And that's the sort of thing that's like, yes, good. This gets you excited. I did see the latest Game Changer. I did. A dungeon map? Yes. Oh, the one with the menu. Yeah. No, I've been watching this season of Game Changer. I'm like, yes, I will keep up with it. You just gotta remember. You just gotta remember. You only have one. Yeah. No, they've been. Yeah, it was kind of old school, but with the sort of higher production quality that they have nowadays, which was nice. But yeah, I saw. Oh, you put it on the Discord. Let me have a look at this map, this dungeon. there we go. Okay, we can say it. Let me just show everyone what we're chatting about today. Window capture? No. Display? Ah, that'll do. Let's have a look at this. Yeah. We got numbered rooms. Good. 15. Okay, so yeah, 1 would be where you come in. 2, 3, 4. I assume. Yeah. And there's like. Now 15 looks like a treasure room to me, and like 13 and 14 where you'll fight the boss. Dungeon scroll, nice. Man, I used to use when I would. What did I do? It was Dungeon Draft, which is a very good program. Oh, a subterranean church across the lake. Hell yeah. Love that. Love a subterranean church. Oh, it's all browser based. Oh, that is handy. We got a bunch of rooms. I mean, that's the thing, yeah. I'd say Dungeon Draft is nice if you want to get real fancy with it, and if you want to have a really, like, you know, fancy looking thing. But sometimes you do just need, like, bang, 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 bunch of rooms, you know. Yeah, multiple paths and then a big thing. Yeah, looks good. Sweet. Oh, it's for His Majesty the Worm. Ah. Oh, it is. Oh, is it a straight up old school dungeon map generator? Dagger Heart and Mothership. Nice. Yeah. I was looking at some Dagger Heart stuff the other day. And it looks interesting. You know? Ooh, acrylic sheet over horizontal TV for battle map. That's good. Yeah, you just go. Nice. So one of the things about playing Fabula Ultima is like you don't need battle maps really. It's all theater of the mind, which has its pros and cons, you know. Oh, you can draw that, and it syncs to roll. Nice. But yeah, I looked at Dagger Heart, and you know it looks fine. I think is what I would say about it. It's definitely reading it. It's like it's doing a bunch of stuff that I have. It's not doing anything I haven't seen before. That's not a bad thing. But it does seem to be doing a lot of things that I do like. So that's good. So it'll probably be fairly enjoyable to play. Amalgamation of mechanics from games people really like. Yeah, like the rolling with hope or rolling with fear is I think explicitly like inspired by Edge of the Empire or Genesis, which I always enjoy. So yeah. Meaning you can, you know, generate consequences or, yeah. Oh yeah, Page of Mechanics shoutouts, right. There you go. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm down for playing. I think Red was planning to, when we have enough people for the Thursday group, planning on running that at some point, doing the, what is it, the intro, but basically the intro adventure that they put out. So I'm down for that. quick start, that's the word. Yeah. Yeah, and the quick start's simple to access, and also the SRD is very comprehensive, and it basically just doesn't have a bunch of lore and art, but other than that, it's basically all the game that you'll need. Preferring physical representation of combat rather than full theater of mind. Yeah, I know. I don't know where I fall down on that. I probably do prefer having a battle map, but okay. So I think you know what's funny is when it comes to Theatre of the Mind, I quite like how Fabula Ultima does it, and compared to, we were just talking about, I just mentioned Edge of the Empire, and because it doesn't, because Edge is like, you need to keep track of range bands, and I remember when I ran it, I always found that a little bit annoying because I don't have I don't need a battle map exactly. But I need to keep track of who's in what range band, and if you're trying to do that in pure Theatre of the Mind, my brain just goes and doesn't have a great time with that. And in Fabula Ultima, because it's based on, Final Fantasy, everyone can always get to everyone else, and so we just don't worry about that. We just go, forget it, don't worry about it. You do a thing where you attack someone who I've narratively described is on the other side of the canyon, and you punch them. Sure, yeah. We'll figure out, that's fine. We'll figure out how that works, and also we don't have to limit ourselves in time or space, right? Where it's like, a turn is not 6 seconds or something. It's like, yeah, you run down across the side of the canyon, leap up the other side, smack them in the face, Yeah. It's like, yeah, we don't worry about any positioning or temporal restrictions or anything like that. It ultimately doesn't matter. Which I kind of prefer, to the way Edge does it. Because, it's kind of, Edge is like meet in the middle, really. It's like, no, either one end or the other end. What I like about grid-based stuff is that there's is actually kind of the lack of ambiguity. Because you're like, okay, this is there, I can move this far, and it is this much. Like, it's very clear what you can and cannot do, right? You're just like, you're not... There's always edge cases and always things where, that are up to a little bit of interpretation. That's pretty much always going to be the case, but it's a lot clearer where you're like, okay, I can move 5 squares, and then I can hit an area that's about this much, and that will get these 3 people. Yeah. That's nice. Star Trek Adventures are no small grids with our defined zones. That's fine, actually. I think that was all right. Because we had maps with zones, right? Yeah. I wouldn't say that I necessarily dislike any of this stuff, but I just found it a little harder. I think I found it a little harder when trying to do something like Edge without a proper map. Or even just like because most of the time when we got to Edge, I would just bust out a very crudely drawn map if I needed it, because it's like we need to I need to keep track of who's where, and I can't do that in my head. So we need some representation. I haven't actually looked at how Daggerheart is on that front. Actually, I have the SRD. I can pull it up. Check the tapes. Ba-ba-bum. Oh man, the SRD is not... Okay. Oh no, the SRD is not bookmarked, but it does have clickable links. Maps, range and movement. There we go. Huh? Equipment, bunch of stuff, blah blah blah. Where is it then? These are all just... This is just a list of equipment. That's not even where I was... Okay. Okay, hold on. Did I click the right thing? No, maps, range and movement, page 44. That's a lie. Oh no, okay, range. Maximum distance, okay. Equipment, yes, gotcha. Okay, where are we actually talking about maps? What's this? Armor, loot, consumables. It's not here. Well, it's probably in here somewhere, but... Oh, no, it's page 40, not page 44. Honestly. You can do Theatre of the Mind or Maps and Minis, sure. Ranges. Melee, very close, close, far, very far, out of range. Oh yeah, that's very much like... that's pretty much exactly Edge. And it defines that. What gets me a little bit is that it defines it in terms of like feet as well. It's like, yeah. And oh wait, hold on a minute. What are we doing here? Okay, melee, close enough to touch, up to a few feet away. That makes sense. Very close, close enough to see fine details about 5 to 10 feet away. While in danger, can move as part of their action from... Okay, you can move one range band as a single move. And then it says, on a map, anything with the shortest length of a game card, i.e. 2 to 3 inches. It's like, oh. So if you're playing with maps, you gotta bust out the freaking... You gotta bust out the tape measure. or a ruler, which I don't like that. I don't think that's... I don't know. Close is about 10 to 30 feet. Prominent detail. Fine details, prominent details. Okay, sure. Right, it's weird that they... Yeah. While in danger you can make them... Okay, far is like... While in danger, a character must make an agility roll to safely move from far range into melee range. On a map, anything with the length of a long edge of a piece of copy paper. Americans will use anything except the metric system. 11 to 12 inches. Okay, how many footballs is that? And then you can... Optional rule, defined ranges. If you would rather operate with more precise range rules, you can use a 1-inch grid battle map. I'm just going to say like any grid. Any size of grid. It doesn't have to be 1 inches. Just any grid. Melee is 1 square. Close is 3 squares. Very close is 3 squares. Close is 6. Far is 12. Very far is 13 or more. And out of range is, I guess, not on not on the map. Which, yeah, okay. 1 meter grid like normal, sensible people. Ah, huge grid. Yeah. It's funny because I do think like, I mean, I kind of, I'm thinking about using that if you use defined ranges with grids and squares, and then you can move from one range band to the next. But you still have, I think it would be good because it just prevents you from having to get out a ruler every time. Be like, wait, is that 11 inches? Is that 12? Is that, how far is that? It's like, oh, it's this many squares. There we go. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I mean, it's probably fine with like range bands. Not worrying about actual physical distances. Okay, hold on. I'm just reading this. When you're under pressure or in danger and make an action roll, you can move to a location within close range as part of that action. If you're not already making an action roll, if you want to move further than close range, you need to succeed on an agility roll to reposition yourself. You can move within close range for free as part of an action, or within very far range as a separate action. Oh. Okay. I think this does make sense if you break it down, but I don't know why that didn't make sense to me. So you can move as part of your action. Okay. Or move anywhere if you take an action. Okay. I don't know why they phrased it like that. That was the worst way to phrase that humanly possible. Yes. What the hell? Why? Okay, this is the freely available SRD, so I can actually, like, you can download this for free, so I can just show this. Whoops, that was the wrong. Yeah, like, why would you phrase it that way? That was so needlessly confusing. Oh, in your book it's for. Oh, okay. Well, this is. Wait, how do they put it in the book? Because that seems better. I guess this hasn't been updated. That's such a bizarre way of phrasing that. I mean, it is in there. It says if you're not already. If you want to move further than you're close. I still think it's not very well worded. I'm still a little bit. Yeah, this is. I guess the SRD's maybe old. Maybe it's been updated since then. Or the rules in the book, actually. Oh well. Yeah, I think like in practice it's fairly straightforward, but like. I do have to say, from what I've seen of what I remember reading Candela and some of the other things that Darrington Press has done, that is very Darrington Press. To be just kind of needlessly obtuse, or not very refined in their like definitions of things. Like, there's, yeah. I don't want to be crapping on it, but it's like, because otherwise I think it does look fine. And I'm sure the rule actually plays well enough in practice, but I'm like, what? Wait, what do you mean? What are you talking about? Oh, you're like, here's something. Yeah, like weapon. There are different traits for weapons. Well, no, sorry, there are different. I mean, properties. I'm gonna say a weapon can have. Oh, let's go back to the. I just realized you got all the stuff along the bottom. Oh, that's. I mean, that is fine. Actually, hold on. Let me do something else. Let's not do display capture. We don't need that. Let's do window capture. This one. There we go. Anyway, yeah. So, you know, we've got here category. Sure. Trait. Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. Range. Yeah. Damage. Yeah. Damage type. Feature. Burden. This is just a little thing. It's like a weapon's burden indicates how many hands it occupies when equipped. Your maximum burden is 2 hands. Your character's maximum burden. So you only have 2 hands. Okay. I don't know why. Yeah. it's not even a major thing, but I'm like, why is it burden? That doesn't tell me. It's not. Yeah. It's not very descriptive. That's all. It's fine. I guess things give you a +1. Might give you an extra burden or less burden or something. Yeah, maybe. Feature special rule. You know, that's fine. Let's have a look. Broadsword. Agility, melee, D8. Physical. I'm going to assume that's what that is. Burden, one-handed, two-handed. This is a slightly odd thing. Burden. One hand, but then you just write out one-handed or two-handed. I know, you could just do one, one or two. It's fine. But you get certain things: +1 to attacks, -1 to evasion, -1 to evasion. Oh, okay. Massive is -1 to evasion. On a successful attack roll, you get extra damage. And heavy is just -1 to evasion. Okay. Cumbersome, -1 to finesse. And then there's magic weapons. Returning, where's that? Oh, scepter, presence, far, d6 magic. Or you can do melee, d8. Ah, I see. So if you use it as a melee weapon, you get to bonk people for d8, but if you use it as a magic weapon, you get to shoot people for d6. I see. Okay. Powerful. Reliable. I do like that some of these use, like they go between what seems to be all of the stats. Like you can use agility, you can use strength, you can use finesse, you can use instinct and presence for some of these. Scary. Stress. Reloading. Yeah. Ooh. That's a lot of, geez, that's a lot of weapon tables. This is how you can tell the kind of game this is, I think. It's like, if you got several pages of weapon tables, I think this is a relatively this is a relatively grungy game. Oh, God. Oh, there we go. Oh, there's so many pages of tables and things. Yeah, if you have several weapon tables, you are a pulp fantasy game. Yep, pretty much. Oh, actually, here's a good thing to look at. I'm going to get back to this. Running an adventure, GM guidance, GM principles. Let's see how we feel about these. Begin and end with the fiction. Use the fiction to drive mechanics, then connect the mechanics back to the fiction. That makes sense, yeah. Collaborate at all times, especially during conflict. The PCs are the protagonists of the campaign. Antagonism between player and GM should only exist in the fiction. Okay, no, I get what that means. Yeah. You're all working together to play the game, yeah. Or tell a story or whatever, yeah. Yeah. Fill the world with life, wonder, and danger. Showcase rich cultures, take the PCs to wondrous places, and introduce them to dangerous creatures. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Ask questions and incorporate the answers. Ensuring that players' ideas are included results in a narrative that supports the whole group's creativity. Yeah, I mean, that's often a fun thing to do, to be like, oh, what does, you know, someone says, oh, you know, what was that like in your town? Oh, in the books, these are like, they're expanded on full paragraphs? Okay. I mean, that's nice. But yeah, no, it's often good to sort of, if you wrap... What I found is interesting, just in the RPG space, is that I you know, enjoy doing that sort of thing. I'm not doing it all the time, but from time to time it's a good thing to do. But I definitely have come across people who don't want to do that, who not in the sense of like, well, both in the sense of that they're not like, they don't have a good idea when you ask them, they're just like, I don't know, and that's fine. But there are people who just don't like the idea of doing that. Yeah, actually allergic to it, who are like, no, you tell me. I get it if people are like, trying to think on their feet and they don't have a good answer or anything like that. That I get. Like, that's happened to all of us at some point in our lives. And when that happens, I will try and like play it. Try and like just ask more questions or play it through, or, you know, sometimes you have to lean on saying something like, giving a couple of options and saying like, is it more like this or is it more like that? You know. But yeah, there are definitely people out there who are like, no, I want you to tell me everything. And like, I don't know. Give me a break, man. I don't know. Yeah. Play to find out what happens. Yep, that's just one of the best like things you can internalize, which is like, don't have a preset story in mind that requires players to make specific choices because they won't. Or if you tell them that that's what they need to do, then they don't get to make any choices. Vincent Baker gets a halo every time someone writes out their books. Yeah. Hold on gently. Oh, don't worry if you need to abandon or alter something that came before. Yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, that's fine. That's good advice. Cultivate a curious table. Follow what catches the player's interest to foster an environment of creative inquiry. That's one I think would be good to expand on. But yeah, like, you know, follow what people are interested in. And I think there is a sort of give and take, as long as it lines up with what you want to do, as long as it's something you also are interested in when you want to do, or you don't mind doing, or, you know. Yeah. Gain your players' trust. Act in good faith, follow through on your promises, admit your mistakes. Yeah, I mean, yes. Yeah. very good advice, just in general, really. Act in good faith, follow through on your promises, and admit your mistakes. Like, that's just good life advice, let's be honest. But yeah. Keep the story moving forward. Advance the story through escalating action, new information, or changing circumstances after every action roll, whether it succeeds or fails. Right. This is the kind of thing that's usually or often referred to as fail forward, or can be referred to as failing. Actually, no, that's part of this, failing forward, where it's like, and I think a lot of people over the years, particularly online, or particularly in certain online spaces, Reddit, are like, you know, take that the wrong way. It's like failing forward means, you know, find a way to succeed even when they fail, and so you can never fail. It's like, no, that's not what it means. The thing I remember like, this is what I learned from doing Edge of the Empire, was like, because of the way that game works, it's like every time you roll, it is an opportunity to develop the fiction in some way. And Edge makes that more explicit by giving you a bunch of, you know, things to interpret, of like despairs and threats and advantages, and you're like, oh, okay. But basically, whenever you roll, something should happen after every action roll. Yeah, something should happen, because oftentimes, like, the worst thing is like nothing happens, and you're just kind of stuck for a while. Yeah, so yeah. Cut to the action. Skip past the boring bits. When a scene drags on, end it. I'm of two minds about that sometimes, because like I generally agree. Like, ice cream. Sorry, I had ice cream truck outside. Ice cream. No. I generally agree that you want to cut to the action and skip the boring bits, but you do also want to leave time for characters to react to things, to have some downtime, to have verisimilitude, the boring bits to you know, make it to let it breathe, essentially. Yeah, sometimes the boring bits are the verisimilitude. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, when it comes to things like, because something I'll often do, and it's just often explicitly just phrased this way, is like, is if we have like a section where there's usually like a travel montage, or people like are resting for the night, because one difference between, you know, watching a group of professional actors and voice actors and at this point professional D&D streamers, players, play a game, is that they will organically start a conversation and do something and so on. And, you know, a lot of people don't necessarily do that, and that's just a difference of skill set, and maybe feeling a bit less comfortable or not quite knowing, you know, when they can and can't do that. So it helps sometimes to just be like, is there anything you want to do? Any scenes you want to have? Any conversations you want to have along the way? Anything you want to talk about? Anything you want to explore with your characters? Like, sometimes it helps to just to ask people that out loud. And generally I find that when you do ask that, at least one person will have something, and that can spark off other people. But then equally, if no one does, if they're like, no, you know, I think we're good, then we skip to the end, you know. we then jump ahead to when things get interesting again. So yeah. Help the players use the game. Players have more fun when you help them understand the system. Okay. Yes. But that work should not be all on the GM. Do not shovel all of that onto the GM. Please God, no. Like, yes, if you know the system well, help people out, but do not... Players, please learn the game as well. You know? Players, please also learn the game you're playing and don't just expect the GM to tell you what to do all the time. Please. We got enough to keep track of. Please learn the game also. But yeah, helping people when they don't know what to do, that's fine. Yeah. Just don't put all of that on the GM. And help each other. You know, help your fellow player. Create a meta conversation. Yes, this is a good one. Empower players to speak out of character, use safety tools, and ask for clarification. Yes, God, yes. I so hate the kind of player who thinks that sort of thing is metagaming and therefore bad. It's like, no, shut up. Tell them what they would know. Don't hide obvious details or important information from the players. Yep, yeah, good advice. Ground the world in motive, and NPCs' actions flow from their goals and desires. Yes, good. Yeah, no, listen, it's not happened in games I've been part of where people get asking out of character stuff or lore, or like it's not happened in games I've been part of. That's for sure. But I've read about people's takes on it, and you know, I've seen it happen. Or I've read about it happening, I should say. Bring the game's mechanics to life. Set a good example of how fiction and mechanics work together to enhance the game experience. Sure. Reframe rather than reject. If a player's contribution conflicts with the fiction, work with them to reshape it. Okay. I like the idea behind that, but again, this is something that only works to a point. Where eventually there will become a thing where you're like, actually no, actually no, we can try something else. But I think that being the sort of that should be maybe your first instinct, is to try and find a way that you can make it work, rather than your first instinct being to say no. Yeah. Yeah, it's like, yeah, you can't fly really, but maybe you could fling yourself on a big rock. Yeah, that sort of thing. Yeah. Because another thing that gets sort of conflicted and twisted around is like giving improv advice to DMs. Or GMs being like, you need to, you know, yes and. It's like, well, no. What you need is where is it? Yeah, you need every intersection on this diagram. You need every quadrant of yes, no, and but. In your, like, you need to keep all of those in your back pocket. Yes and, yes but, no and, no but. You need all of those if you want to run a game, I think. Because yeah, in that example, like, no, you can't really fly, but maybe you could move yourself on a big rock, which is no but. It's like, can I jump across the lava? It's like, no, if you jump across the lava, the heat above it will kill you instantly. And that's no and. No, and if you try that, you will die. And yes and no, and yes but. Like, these are all way more, like, You need to use all of those, not just yes and. But anyway, yeah. I think it's a good idea to be like, try and find a way to make it work. But don't bend yourself over backwards to make it work. Because again, you being the GM, you are still a player and you still have, you know, what you want for the scene and for the world and for everything does matter and is important. So don't just completely sublimate your stuff in favor of your players all the time. Working moments and montages. When framing a scene, decide which beats should be savoured and which shouldn't linger. Okay, that needs more explanation. Because I think just saying like decide which bits we should focus on and which bits we shouldn't is not very helpful if you don't know how to evaluate that. So I hopefully in the actual book it's expanded on more, you know. Pitfalls to avoid. Ah, that's nice. Okay, what do we got here? Pitfalls to avoid. Undermining the heroes. If a roll doesn't go well, show how it was impacted by an adversary's prowess, environmental factors, or unexpected surprises rather than PC's incompetence. Yeah, that's a good one. You don't always have to do that. Sometimes it can be incompetence, but not always. Sometimes. But honestly, yeah, no, generally it's like your heroes are good at what they do, or at least they're supposed to be. Yeah. Always tell the players what to roll. Let the players decide how to handle the challenge. Right. Again, that comes down to just players stating what they want to do, and then we decide what kind of roll that is, and then you do that roll. Like, yeah. And there will always be times when what you need to roll is like pretty obvious. It's like, I want to jump across the chasm. It's like, okay, you need to make well, if it was D&D, I guess it would be an athletics roll or something. All right, get out of here. Oh, be gone. Be gone, bot. Letting scenes drag. Shake it up or cut away when a scene is concluded, the table's energy is flagging, or people are talking in circles. Oh wow, they put that they put that in sorry. They systematized that in a game made for the Critical Role crew, huh? Interesting. Particularly this last bit. Anyway. No, that's good. Yeah. Hey, Red. Hey, welcome back. I think you went. Or maybe you've been here the whole time. I know you were here earlier. Anyway. Yeah. Let's go back. Yeah, we went through this stuff. Taking a look at the Dagger Heart, you know. And generally it's pretty good. Some of this definitely requires elaboration. Like I was saying, working moments and montages. When framing a scene, decide which beats should be saved and which shouldn't linger. But how do you know, be good to have more explanation of how you determine that, which is, maybe that's in the actual book. Anyway. Letting scenes drag, yeah. Table's energy is flagging or people talking in circles. Yeah, basically, that's just, yeah, that's good. Because particularly if players are talking in circles, particularly if they're making plans and they're just kind of going around and around and not getting anywhere, you have to be like, okay, let's move on. Let's figure out something that you're gonna do and do it, and let's do that. You know? Like, let's get this thing going. Singular solutions. Don't get hung up on one right answer to a problem. If the players have a clever idea, make it work. Yeah, absolutely. Just solid advice. Yeah, and over planning. Oh, that one should probably be a formatting issue there. Spend your prep time inventing situations instead of scripting scenes. If the players surprise you, take a break to think through your options. Yeah, you know, solid stuff. The way I always think about it is like you are. Yeah, you are building the a lot of the time anyway. You are building the you are building the you're building the China shop that you are going to let the bull into. Like, that's what you're doing. Like, that's what players are. Like, you are building it because you want to see what happens when they get in there, you know? You want to see the carnage and destruction they wreak. Yeah. And hoarding fear. Some gyms try to run it more like a Rube Goldberg machine. Yeah, that might be another type of way of phrasing it. I don't know. It's just the thing that I think of. Hoarding fear. Spend fear when you have the opportunity. The players will always generate more. Yeah. It's the elixir problem. It's like, oh, but I only. It's like, it's the final battle, but I only have 85 of them. Yeah, players will knock over the dominoes and disrupt your machines. And, like... Oh yeah, page 140. And, like, knocking over dominoes is what players are for. You know? I think one of the biggest mistakes... I don't know, do I think it's one of the biggest mistakes? Maybe it is. That you can make as a GM of this kind of game is like worrying about players disrupting your plans, because yeah, like having specific plans that the players can disrupt as the GM, right? I always say that when I'm running a game, I outsource I outsource all the planning or the anxiety about it. I outsource all of that to my antagonists, because I am not the one making the plans. Exactly, they're not my plans. They are my characters' plans. They are the NPCs' plans. They are the villains' plans. They do not belong to me in that sense. My plans and what I want are a much bigger, more ephemeral thing of like, I want to make an interesting game, I want to have an interesting villain, I want to have, you know, I want to explore this theme, or we want to do that, you know. My plan is not, aha, the guards will ambush them in the dead of night. That's not my plan. That's like the evil lord's plan. So then when they discover through whatever shenanigans that, hey, we overheard this guy saying that they're going to jump us in the dead of night, I'm not going, shit, now I don't get, damn it. I'm going, okay, that isn't going to work. And so now the Lord gets to react to that not working. What are they going to do about it? You know? Yeah. That's the way I tend to think about it. Yeah. Having specific plans to disrupt. Yeah, exactly, because you've set up the thing, and then you introduce the random like wild element into it, and then you see what happens. Yeah. Yeah. That's the way I think about it. So yeah. Hmm. Whoa. The GMs die. But one of the first proper campaign experiences was very influential. We played with the GM who played with a regular group and wanted him to just narrate a cool story at them to go along with. Oh, yeah. I'm not. Yeah. Oh. This is why I identify with the Lazy Dungeon Master, because the Lazy Dungeon Master has a bunch of great advice anyway. Lazy DM, but also there's a lot of things where like I would rather work with you than do all of that work myself. You know what I mean? You said we're basically space pirates, and so first chance you got were space pirates. Yeah, I broke his plans. He's super excited about it. He's like, oh wait, they're not doing what I want them to, or what I thought they would. Yeah. Oh, you mean the players who are like, I will play along with exactly what you want. Yeah. I mean, I'll bite on a hook. Yeah. It's like, no, come on, guys. We should really get back to the thing. It's like, no, it's fine. It's fine. We'll be fine. Don't worry about it. There's always a give and take, though, right? Like, there will be like, okay, we're playing this campaign about defeating the evil, devil taking over the city or whatever. And then you make the characters, and then the first session you're like, let's leave the city and go to a small village and open a bakery. And like, yeah, we can play that out and be like, yeah, you have a bakery while the city gets destroyed and everyone dies. Good job. Like, you guys, there's a certain degree to which you do have to play along and do have to, you know, go away with that, go along with that sort of thing. But yeah. Working within that framework, though, there's so many things you can do or not do, or you know. Yeah. Ooh, yes, giving the GM proper nouns and backstory with no clear meaning. That is fun. I've had both. Like, I've had the experience of people with very limited backstories, and people with very detailed backstories, and the majority of like just the, you know, a few sentences. But I've had a couple of players who have given me like the big long thing. I'm like, okay, I will read it. I will try and read it. I can't promise you that any of this will come up necessarily because there's so much here, but I don't know. Yeah, it is good to have something to grab onto. Yeah. Ooh, making moves. Hey, wait a minute. Ooh, okay, what does it say? Adversary attack rolls, natural 20. Ah, we still got natural 20s, eh? DM uses a d20. Oh, the players use. Oh, of course, players use 2d12 for hope and fear, but the GM uses a d20. Interesting. Yeah. Okay. You can crit. Get a crit on a 20. Guidance on action rolls. The player describes a move they want to make during the game. Might decide how an action roll is necessary to determine how the scene progresses. Determine whether the roll is necessary in the first place. Yeah, sure. The stakes of an action roll before the player makes it. That's good. Communicate any unavoidable consequences, right? If desired, opportunity to forgo the roll stage for an interesting outcome, cost, or complication. see. Yeah, I mean, that's all fine. That's all fine. Okay, we're gonna need to find more about Spotlight stuff. As a GM, you have GM moves that change the story in response to the player's actions. Do whatever. GM moves happen during GM turns. Begins when the spotlight passes to them and ends when the spotlight passes back to the player. Okay, so I guess that's kind of codifying or gamifying that the kind of somewhat natural ebb and flow of a session to an extent. Okay. Make a GM move whenever you want. Spotlight is arbitrary, essentially a turn wishy-washy initiative where you hand out tokens and they cash them for Spotlight. Oh, okay. Interesting. Okay. So make a GM move when the players roll with fear, fail an action roll, do something that has unavoidable consequences, give you a golden opportunity, and look to you for what happens next. Okay, so yeah, this is just basically writing out when you should do stuff as the GM. Just being explicit about it. Ooh. What is that? What is that? Who did end up going to player's hometown with his dad, having to be any personality guidelines for that character that player's dad is pretty kind of unsure of his son's choices. I actually imagine him being as a very strict ass, but had never communicated that to me. End up working out as players finally seeing eye to eye. Very sweet, yeah. And that also shows that if you have a specific idea, particularly about your backstory of characters attached to you in some way, maybe communicate that to your GM if you want that to come up. Like maybe communicate that, because yeah, how else are they gonna know? Yeah. Choosing GM moves. Okay. I was gonna say, does it have explicit like GM moves, or is it just it's very freeform? Yeah. Both agree what happened was better, at least. Well, there you go. Okay. Choosing GM moves. On a critical success, you let the player describe their success, give them additional opportunity or advantage. On a success with hope, show how the world reacts to it. On a success with fear, you work with the player to describe their success, take a fear, and make a GM move to introduce a minor consequence, complication, or cost. An adversary attacks, mark stress, introduce. Okay, yeah, that's very. I would hope that this is expanded on in the full thing, because you let the player describe their success and show you how the world reacts to it, because that could go either way. And my understanding is that a success with hope is supposed to be a good thing if it's, you know, based on a Edge of the Empire type of system, right? Anyway, raise the stakes, you know, you do stuff, yeah. On a failure with hope, you describe how the PC fails to get what they want, and then make a GM move to introduce a minor consequence, complication, or cost. Oh. Interesting. Okay, because I had assumed, based on what it was based on and the names of the things, that if you got a failure with hope, you got some minor benefit or something, but despite failing. But that doesn't appear. That's not what this seems to say. On a failure with hope, you describe how the PC fails to get what they want, then make a GM move to introduce a minor consequence, complication, or cost. So okay. I guess because you are you always rolling? You're always rolling with either hope or fear, right? Like hope, every roll comes with hope or fear. Yeah, because if you have 2d12, one is a hope dice, one is a fear dice, and whichever one is higher, you add that to the roll as a hope or a fear. I think that's how that works. I looked at that. So okay. So failure with hope it still gives you a consequence, complication, or cost, and a failure with fear is worse. A major consequence, complication, or cost. So I guess in that sense, a failure with hope is still good, but okay, because that's not how I would have assumed it worked, just from what it was based on. All right. Ah, hey, look, what did I say? Yes, no, and but. Okay, think about these quick phrases. Success with hope is yes and, success with fear is yes but, failure with hope is no but, failure with fear is no and. There you go. Example GM moves. Okay, soft and hard moves. Example GM moves include introduce a new obstacle or enemy, ask the player what happens, have the PC marker stress, or tell the players everything is fine for now. Scare the shit out of your players. Yeah, okay. Soft moves are easier on the players. Yeah, opportunities, right? Hard moves are harsher, more impactful, or more direct. Don't get an opening to interrupt or anticipate the outcome. Softer moves on rolls with hope and harder moves on rolls with fear. Oh, here's some examples. I think show how the world reacts is kind of useless as an example. Like, that's not particularly helpful. Because when I look at a lot of these ones in here, this is the world reacting. Ask a question and build on the answer, make an NPC act in accordance with their motive. I mean, that is the world reacting. Like, that's... Unless they mean how the world reacts in some other way. Anyway. Drive a PC to take action by dangling their goals in front of them. Signal an immigrant... sorry, brain. Imminent. It's because it was signal. The G sound was getting stuck in my brain. Signal an imminent off-screen threat. It's too warm today. Reveal an unwelcome truth or unexpected danger. Force the group to split up. Force the group to split up. Huh, okay. Make the PC mark stress. Make a move the characters don't see. Okay. Show collateral damage. Clear an adversary's condition. Shift the environment. Spotlight an adversary. Capture someone or something important. Backstory against them. Take away an opportunity permanently. Yeah. Someone fails predicting the world reacts by a lot of people seeing them, causing a complication. I suppose that would make sense, yeah. Huh. Okay. So using fear. You start a campaign with 1 fear per PC in the party. Gain a fear whenever the PC rolls with fear. PCs take a rest or when something else tells you that you do. You can never have more than 12 fear at one time. Okay. Persists between sessions. Spend a fear to interrupt the players to steal the spotlight and make a move. Make an additional GM move. Use an adversary's fear feature and environment's fear feature. Right. Add an adversary's experience to a roll. Relates to the amount of fear you spend during it. For guidance on how much fear you should spend in a scene, consult the following table. Oh, okay. Incidental. 0 to 1 fear, minor 1 to 3, standard 2 to 4, major 4 to 8, climactic 6 to 12. Spend a shitload of fear. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Oh hey, look at that. Difficulty benchmarks of various things. Okay. Some examples. So what have we got there? We've got 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30. Trying to think. I guess you get to add stuff to rolls because otherwise there's no way on a 2d12 to get to 30. Advantage and disadvantage, would you look at that? Oh no, in D&D, yeah, in modifiers, yeah, true. Adversary action rolls. So this is interesting. By default, adversaries don't normally make action rolls except for attack rolls and unique actions described in their stat blocks. Any other action an adversary attempts simply succeeds without an action roll. If you want an adversary's action to have a chance of failure, have any relevant PCs make reaction rolls instead. Okay, that's similar to some other games I've played before. Yeah. Okay. However, for especially dramatic or difficult tasks that PCs can't influence, you can give an adversary an action roll anyway. For their action roll, you roll a d20. You play D&D. Gotcha. Spend a fear to add an experience from their stat block to the total. And the same thing for a reaction roll. It is kind of funny that the GM is playing, like the GM is playing D&D, and the party is playing something else when it comes to rolls. Let me guess. Oh look, adversary has disadvantages. You get 2d20. You get take the higher. If they have disadvantage, you get 2d20 and take the lower. Yeah, literally. literally adversaries are playing D&D. Like, roll a d20, add their attack modifier to the result. If it beats their meets or beats the target's evasion, the attack succeeds. You know, you can add advantage, disadvantage, spend a fear to add an experience. Yeah. No, I get that you don't want the DM start generating hope and fear, because if you were doing that all the time, you know, you would just, if everyone was rolling like that, you would be generating it even faster. Yeah. But it's just funny to me. It's just funny to me that like the DM is playing D&D and the other players are not. Okay. Countdowns. Hey, wait a minute. That's just a clock. That's a clock. Wait a second. Yeah. Progress countdowns and dynamic countdowns to positive effect. Yeah, okay, it's a clock. Okay, yeah, gotcha. Dynamic countdown advancement. Failure with fear, no advancement. Consequence advancement of 3 with hope. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So the better you do, the more things you fill. Yeah. Pretty standard stuff. Yeah. Advanced countdown features. Randomized starting values. Loops that reset to their starting value after their effect is triggered. Okay, yeah. That'd be good for like environmental effects or something. Increasing countdowns that increase their starting value by 1 every time they loop. Oh, I see. Yeah. Or decreasing for the same thing. Linking to progress and consequences that advance according to the same action roll outcomes. Yeah. Long-term countdowns that advance after reset, after rest instead of action rolls. Okay, yeah, that's... Again, yeah. Giving out gold, equipment, and loot. Sure. Ooh, okay. Different running GM NPCs. Always try to follow your principles using to bring towards life. Unique man's speech and their action. Let their individual goals and desires motivate their actions. Yep. The only essential elements for an NPC are their name, description, and motive. If it's likely the PCs roll against them, give them a difficulty. Adversaries can be invented or improvised by modifying stat block of another adversary. Right. If they become an ally, they don't need a stat block. Put the spotlight on what they do and show how they alter the fiction. If they capitalize on their help during the scene, give them advantage. If they don't have hit points or stress, can be injured or killed if the fiction demands it. Okay. If you want an important NPC to mechanically interact with the system, you can give them features with triggers and effects. Might have a choice that adjusts parameters of their feature. For example, okay, and hold. Choice: when the battle begins, choose a favored PC. The first time during a battle, the favored PC is within close range and hit with an attack. There's a trigger. Make an attack roll against the adversary. On a success, it's temporarily restrained by powerful magic. Ah, okay. There are examples of features. Volley of arrows, mentor, regroup, into the night. Okay. Optional GM mechanics. We're not leaving fate rolls entirely up to chance. They call for a fate roll. Okay. Player rolls one of their duality dice and interprets the result. So roll your fear on a 4 or lower. The fire spreads beyond the house. It's up to chance whether reinforcements will make it to you in time. Roll your fear dice. That was the size of the countdown. When that triggers, reinforcements will arrive at far range. Hope die to see how big the crowd is at the inn tonight. Higher the roll, the bigger the crowd. Hope die determine the number of stamina potions. Okay, yeah, sure. That's an interesting optional mechanic. Yeah, okay. Falling and collision damage. Well, considering this is inspired in part by Edge, then I assume that falling damage will kill you instantly. Fall from... okay. Yeah, fall from far or very far range deals 1d100 plus 15. Or death at the GM's... That's death at the GM's discretion. Okay, yeah, that is taken from... that is taken from Edge, actually. Although, funnily, the funny thing being, like, rolling a d100 is there is a chance that you roll really low. I rolled a 1 on a d100, so it takes 16 points of damage. Like, you can survive 1,000,000 damage even if it were flat with how the system works. Oh, I haven't looked at that part. Can't have any more grogs jumping off dragonbacks 400 feet and be unscathed. Not anymore. Attack rolls may... Oh, so, okay, moving and fighting underwater... Yeah. Oh, it's thresholds. Oh. Interesting. Conflict between PCs. Discuss the situation, both decide how to resolve it. A roll might be necessary, but if rolling might not be necessary, but if rolling will be fun for everyone, go for it. Yeah, that's just, yeah, that's how it... It's funny that that's I guess that's an optional GM mechanic, I guess, but that's just, yeah. Yeah, it's opposed rolls and things like that. Yeah. Adversaries and environments. Adversary stat blocks. They have a name, a tier, a type. Ah, okay. We've got enemy types. That's fun. I do like that. Bruisers, hordes, leaders, minions. Okay. Ranged, skulks, socials, solos. Some of these names are not great, but it's fine. Standards and supports. Hold on. Okay, hold on. Let me look at some of these. Okay, bruisers, tough, powerful attacks. Yep. Hordes, groups of identical creatures acting as a single unit. Okay, like a swarm of bees or something. Leaders, command and summon other ones. Minions, easily dispatched but dangerous in numbers. Yep. Ranged, fragile, in close encounters, hard to damage at range. Sure. Skulks, maneuver and exploit opportunities to ambush opponents. Sure. Socials, present challenges around conversation instead of combat. Okay. Solos, a formidable challenge to a whole party with or without support. Ah. Standards, representative of... Okay, this is the one where I'm like, what does that mean? Representative of their fictional group. I don't know. Enhance their allies and disrupt their opponents with supports. Yeah. Standards are the only one that I'm a little bit like, I'm not sure what you mean by that. Or what that means in practice. Just a baseline bandit. I guess it's just their bog standard and they don't have any of these other additional abilities or traits, I suppose. Description, motive and tactics, difficulty made against them unless otherwise noted. Okay, so enemies have a specific set difficulty for anything you try to do to them, unless noted otherwise. Okay, thresholds, major and severe threshold. Attack modifier, a standard attack. Experience, optional. Can spend a fear to add an adversary's relevant experience to raise their attack roll or increase the difficulty of a roll made against them. Ah, yeah, I've seen a bit of it. This is like these are like character traits that you can add to rolls or things. And there are features and fear features that cost fear. Gotcha. Okay, yeah, this is all... Yeah, this all looks pretty straightforward. Very kind of similar to D&D as similar things. Oh, here's how to make encounters. Oh yeah, okay. Yep, that's nice. That's nice. Yeah, that's a good thing about making encounters. Yes. Yep. Good. Types of enemy by tier, a whole bunch of them. Oh, there's so many. Oh. Yeah, that all looks fine. Just gonna go through all of these because I mean they give you all of this stuff in the SRD, which is great, honestly. Stone Wraith, War Wizard, Demon of Avarice, Demon of Despair, bunch of demons. Dire Bat, Dryad, Huge Green Ooze, nice. Monarch, Hydra, Head Vampire, Vault Guardian Jailer, Young Ice Dragon, Tier 4, Fallen Warlord, Undefeated Champion. Oh. How do we feel about these stat blocks then? Because they look at least a little bit, you know, very similar to like a D&D stat block. particularly with this stuff. And the higher level ones do have a bunch of things. Fallen God, I mean, I guess if you should probably have a lot. Wait a minute, hold on a minute. Hey. I see you, Darrington Press. You're not slick. Wait a minute. I've never known defeat. Melania, Blade of Mikola. Alright. Hallowed Soldier, Kraken. Look at all of that. Oracle of Doom. Outer Realms Abomination. Cool. I mean, these are all the high level things. So, yeah, this is what I wanted to get to, the environment stat block, which I've played around with this before for D&D because I saw someone, a long time ago, but someone made like I think a system of doing doing it that way for environments. So curious about this. So an environment stat block has stats, name, tier, type, exploration, social, traversal, event. Okay. Exploration is locations with mysteries and marvels to discover. Traversals, dangerous locations where movement through and around the space itself is a challenge. Okay. Description, impulses. The manner or mode with which the environment pushes and pulls the people with it. Pushes and pulls the people within them. Difficulty, potential adversaries, features, and feature questions. Prompts for plot hooks, narrative engines, and connections to other story elements. Adjust, yeah, mess around with them to suit your needs. Yeah. Okay. Damage dice is difficulties. Okay. A bunch of fixes. Okay. Let's have a look. All right. Let's take. Whoa. Oh, that's a long one. Okay. Abandoned Grove, Tier 1 Exploration. A former druidic grove laying fallow and fully reclaimed by nature. Impulses, draw in the curious, echo the past. Difficulty of 11. Potential adversaries, beasts, and grove guardians. Overgrown battlefield, passive. There's been a battle here. You can make an instinct roll to identify evidence of that fight. Success with hope, learn all 3 pieces of information. On a success with fear, learn 2. On a failure, mark a stress to learn 1. Advantage on the next action roll to investigate its environment. With appropriate background and experience, can learn an additional detail and ask a follow-up question about the scene to get a truthful, if not always complete, answer. The questions are: why did these groups come to blows? Why is the grove unused now? Barbed vines. Pick a point within the grove. All targets there. Stab. You are not welcome here. Action. A young dryad, 2 soldiers, and a number of minor tree ants equal to the number of PCs appear to confront the party for their intrusion. What are they concealing? Okay. Spend a fear. Summon a minor chaos elemental drawn to the echoes of violence and discord. They appear within a far range. Yeah. Okay. No, I like this sort of thing. Ambush, an event. Overwhelm, scatters around. Relative strength passive equals the of the adversary with the highest difficulty. Okay. Surprise! Reveal themselves. You gain 2 fear. Spotlight immediately shifts to one of the ambushing adversaries. Ambushers. Wait. Ambushed and ambushers. Oh, when you are, I see. When you are the ambushed and when you are the ambushee or the ambusher. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Bustling marketplace. Okay. Yeah, this is neat. Okay, I'm just gonna page back up to the. So what do you have? You've got abandoned grove, ambushed ambushers, bustling marketplace, cliffside ascent, local tavern, outpost town, raging river. Tier 2, cult ritual, hallowed temple, haunted city, mountain pass. Tier 3, burning heart of the woods, castle siege, pitched battle. And tier 4 has chaos realm, divine usurpation. Is that a word? Imperial court, necromancer's ossuary, full of bones. Alright. Raging river, ritual, hallowed temple, mountain pass, castle siege, blah 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 blah. Yes. I mean, this is neat. I like, you know, it stats it out for you and gives you explicit things you can do, which is nice. Oh, additional GM guidance, story beats. Storytelling, a beat is a moment that changes the trajectory of the narrative, a shift in the world, a significant action or reaction, an emotional revelation, or an important decision. Take turns with the players narrating a beat and letting them react and carry the scene forward with their own beats. While preparing for a session, plan in terms of the moments that give shape to each scene or sequence rather than pre-scripting specific details or exchanges. Right, yeah. Combat. Ensure the combat is being used to give more players more information about the unfolding story, revealing the world, the plot, or the characters. Yeah, that's a good one. Like, making sure that the combat has a purpose beyond, like, having a combat. It is revealing something or reinforcing something, or sometimes. Battles and narrative. Session rewards, crafting scenes. Do I think with all of your senses sharing something unique or unexpected about the fiction? Yeah. Engage by rotating the focus between PCs, tying together story elements, engaging quiet players using visual aids, encouraging unguided play, confronting PCs with internal external conflicts, spending fear to raise the stakes, laying goals other than attrition into combat. Oh. Hey, random objectives. Nice. Oh, phased battles. Change things around. Downtime. Yep. Projects during downtime. You track projects with a clock. Yep, gotcha. Okay, here we go. Campaign frames. Okay, so a campaign frame provides inspiration, tools, and mechanics to support a particular type of story at the table. Each frame has a complexity rating that indicates how much mechanics deviate from or expand upon the Dagger core rule set. So it includes a pitch to present the players, a guidance on the tone, feel, themes, and touchstones, campaign's background, fitting communities, ancestries, and classes, principles for players and GMs to focus on during the campaign, setting distinctions and inciting incident, special mechanics, and questions to consider. Okay, yeah. Oh, look at that. There's a bunch. Okay, let's have a look. The Witherwild. When an invading nation attacks an ancient forest deity, a virulent overgrowth spreads throughout the land. Hell yeah. One complexity rating 1. The pitch. Okay. I love Critical Role names because I don't know. It's the one area where I'm like. I don't know, they always seem a little bit awkward to me, but I'm out. Might be wrong. Fanewick was once a place of great abundance and peace, dangerous to those unfamiliar with the land, but a cornucopia to those who respected its ways. When Haven invaded the wilds and forced the land into eternal spring, a dangerous bloom known as the Witherwild took hold and now threatens the lives of all who live there. In a Witherwild campaign, you'll play unlikely heroes from humble beginnings who are reckoning with their newfound duty to save Fanewick's people from dangerous corruption. Solid. Tone is adventurous, dynamic, epic, heroic, thrilling, uncanny, and whimsical. Themes of cultural clash, ends justify the means, grief, people versus nature, transformation and change, survival. Touchstones, Princess Mononoke, Legend of Zelda, Dark Crystal, Nausicaa, the Valley of the Wind. Overview. There's more detailed information about the places. Shunaush the Granite Ophid. Okay. That's yep, okay. The Havenites and okay, a bunch of okay, this is oh, that's long. Oof. Okay. Give your players the following information. Okay. Yeah, and that's what I would do. I would give it to them. Like in a handout or a text, like, here, read this. I'm not gonna read that. I'm not gonna describe that to you. That's too much. Communities. All communities are available. Some have unique aspects. Okay. Yeah. The one that's Horizon Zero Dawn? Hell yeah. I like having the questions to ask during your session 0. That's good. Chat of the Colossus with cowboys. Yeehaw. What knowledge did your community teach you that you must now protect or share? What are you able to accomplish because of your upbringing that others outside your community do not understand? Your part you get in return. Plus. Okay, so what are the? I should scroll up and look at these communities again, because Lawborn and Highborn, Ridgeborn, Underborn, and Wildborn. I'm going to assume Ridgeborn is mountains. Underborn is from the place without light below the world, the not Underdark. And Wildborn, Orderborn, Slyborn, Seaborn, Wonderborn. No. These are a little awkward. Where's Bloodborn? I want to know. Ancestries. All ancestries are available. Some have unique aspects. Clanks made from iron and steel, from wood and stone. Fungrel. Yeah. Dracona, fawns, furbolgs, and infernies. Okay. I can infer that, you know, dragons, or fawns and furbolgs, yeah. Infernis, you know, devil people, tieflings. Galapa and ribbits. Okay, ribbits are frogs, 100%. I don't know what Galapa is. Wait, Gallop, are they horse people? I don't know. Classes. Oh, Galapa are turtle people. Galapagos Island. Okay, yeah, okay. Okay. Things about druids, rangers, and sorcerers, warriors and wizards, vengeance guardians. Okay, so it has a bunch of specific things that affect, or that might affect ancestries and classes, which is nice. You know, it's a lot of all that backstory and lore and things about that, if you want it. And there are player principles. Player principles. Okay. Give your players the following information. So, make the invasion personal, treat death with importance, embrace vulnerability. I like that it's giving player principles, something to guide you when you're making your character, and like, this is part of the buy-in. You want to have these things. And then GM principles: paint the world in contrast, show them true danger, offer alternatives to violence, create multidimensional allies and adversaries. Okay. Oh, you mean like they have, other things going on. Okay. Yeah, having both player and GM principles is a nice thing. Distinctions. Oh. Okay, there's a lot. I'm not reading all of this. Happy for you or sorry that happened. I ain't reading all of that. Not right now. But okay, so this is like this is distinctions. Okay. Prepare your campaigns, share it with your players as needed. So this is all like, this is the, yeah. Day and Night, the Serpent Sickness, Lady's Veil, Wither Wild, Gods of Fainwick. Oh. Oh, damn. That's a lot of stuff. Wait, okay, no, there's more. Hold on, okay. Right. Gods in this land, they wander the world. That's interesting. Various divinities have their own opinion of the world corruption. I just want to read this list of gods for this. Folg, stacker of stones. Hyacinus, they who spread small blossoms. Ikla, the sky painter. Cool. Oof, the watcher of the night bloom. Quigar, whispered sweetness for a thorny end. Rokin, the wandering horn. Nice. Okay. Inciting incident. Prompt below to start your campaign or create one. Okay. So it gives you an inciting incident if you want to use that. Again, I'm not reading all of this. There are specific mechanics for the campaign, like corruption from the Wither Wild. Session 0 questions. What dangerous animal comes out during the week of night that isn't out during the week of day? What unique trait does anything tainted by the Wither Wild have? What superstitions does your character or their community have about traversing Fainwick during the long nights? Your characters witnessed something beautiful that came from the Wither Wild. What is it and how has that transformed the view of the corruption? So I like this part where now we are kind of working together with the party to do a bit of world building. Hell yeah. That's good. No, I like this. Some of this stuff is stuff that I have ended up doing myself, like the early bit of like pitch with the tone and feel and themes and touchstones. That's something I will do when pitching a game to people. Actually I can. I'm not showing this now, but I can find it on the like the Fabula Ultima campaign I'm doing now. Final Fantasy Agents of Annihilation. Was it on this one? No, it was in a different one. DM things. Here we are. Inspire people to make their own and share them, just like how people make new classes and such. Yeah, because it's very feasible to make that compared to a whole campaign setting. Yeah, absolutely. Yes, okay. yeah, when I pitched, yeah, all of that, like, additional, like, this is way more, way more, there is, like, way more in here than I would give to people when we normally start a campaign, though. But that's just because, yeah, we'll work it in as we go, I think, a lot of the time. Oh, it goes away if I minimize. Yeah, whatever. Oh, I mean, it goes away on the stream. But yeah, the Final Fantasy Agents of Annihilation, excuse me, was pitched as like, it is a Final Fantasy game, like, but the references are like, what did I have? It has an XCOM, Attack on Titan, Pacific Rim, Power Rangers, but also like specific Final Fantasy games. So FF8, I mean, kinda. Well, what was interesting is when we did the world creation, because I was of two minds. I was like, I don't know which way I want to go with this, because either, you know, you are one of the squads. That was kind of how I originally conceived of it. But as I was planning it out, and I was like, I kind of also like the idea of being a scrappy little team. So when we did world creation for Fabula Ultima, I asked the parties, like, what would you rather do? Would you rather be, you know, because it's basically it's just different, you know, you have a different spin on things. And so we went with the scrappy little team of people who are outside of that system. And that has allowed me to make the Buster Squad as a sort of antagonists, so that has been fun. But yeah, we were like, you know, what do you want to do? Like, okay, because yeah, so it's less FF8 where you're it's more FF7 in that way, because FF8 you are, you know, is a high school anime. But like scrappy little band of, I don't know if rebels is exactly the right word, but you know. Yeah. So that's where we're going at the moment. That's the way it's going right now. But we definitely have like that Power Rangers and sort of Attack on Titan, not Attack on Titan, Pacific Rim sort of thing going. Oh right, I wrote down, yeah, what Buster stands for. The Bureau for Unearthly Species Termination, Extraction and Reconnaissance. Yeah. Buster. 14 campaigns. So this is the people who deal with the stuff the Warrior of Light doesn't have time for. Yeah. But yeah, I truly was in like two minds. I was like, because I really enjoyed doing the thing that way, but a part of me was like, oh, I want to maybe try and do a different style of game where you are, you know, the squad in that, but I also really like the other thing, so we went with the other thing, which I guess I'm more comfortable with that, and it's what everyone else was wanted to do, so yeah, and it's been fun, so there you go. Yeah, I will admit it's still taking me a lot of getting used to with Fabula Ultima, because I'm picking it up as we go along, because I don't have a good I don't do well trying to read through a whole rule book. I'm just like, but I'm picking it up as we go, and basically once I was like, oh, now I just have more characters to work with. Okay, this feels better. You know, I don't think I hit the ground running, but I think we're getting up to speed. But I was like, oh yeah, I get to make a bunch of. I basically get to make for a whole number of NPCs or antagonists. I get to make a bunch of my own Power Ranger teams. It's essentially what they are. And especially because in Fabula Ultima, you know, you do the villain scene or the antagonist scene where you introduce them in a cutscene where the players are not present. And so we did that last session with Buster Squad Zeta. Let me go to the Roll20 and when they get in Megazord. Well, it is kind of in the Final Fantasy tradition where they are the ones fighting. You know, they don't call upon the Zords. They have the power to fight back the monsters themselves. Summons. Well, you see, in this one, like, I mean, that would have been, if you were going to do Final Fantasy Power Rangers, then that is what you would do, isn't it? Yeah, you would get yeah, Bahamut Zord, Dragon Zord, Ifrit Zord. That's what you would do, and then they would combine into Ultima or something, or Ultima Weapon or something like that. That's what you would do. But I think we talked about that, and we were like, no, let's not do that. Let's do something else. And because in this, the summons are the kaiju, basically. The summons are the kaiju. Yeah, summons from 13, but as Voltrons. Yeah, yeah, kind of. Yeah. So yeah, I have like a short description of Buster Squad Zeta, which is like, you've got Zeta Gold, who is the leader, a tall woman with big hair, like big frizzy hair, dual tech katanas, and has like a tech visor. We've got Zeta Green, a lanky guy with a large rifle and a cowboy hat. Zeta Purple, a short woman with many robot drones and tech goggles and things like that. Zeta Yellow, big woman with power gloves and a scar over one eye. big hair. Zeta Red, a short guy with a sword and shield with heroic flowing hair. How many of these are big? Well, okay, in that one, 2. And one of them is tall, and the other one is described as big. There's a difference. But there's a whole bunch of different Buster Squads in that in there, so I get to come up with some more of those when they become relevant. Yeah. And it's interesting because the party is like, they've uncovered now a secret about, or some information about what's happening to the soul network or the crystals in the world or magic, or and the Buster Agency is trying to track down a missing crystal that they stole, and to do a science on. So something is going on, but the Buster Squads do genuinely, they do go around protecting people, so they are nominal heroes even if they are antagonists. So that's an interesting thing, but we're still very early on, so there may be more will be revealed perhaps, or things might develop or change, who knows. See how it goes. Yeah. Excuse me. So yeah, that's what's been going on in Mac. But no, I like a lot of that stuff I've seen from Dagger Hearts. So that'll be fun to play that at some point. And oh, excuse me. Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking forward to doing more of Fabula Ultima and getting a handle on the system some more. Because I think it's a pretty good system. I'm just like, there's so much for me to take in all at once. So yeah. Not at the point of feeling confident running like with all of it yet, but we may yet get there. Oh man, okay. It is very warm today. I am melting. It is 7:40. That's 2 hours of stream. I think I'm running out of steam. So I think I will leave you there for today, chat. So I will say thank you for hanging out and tuning in. I'm going on a break next week. And when we come back, it might just be 14 when we come back, you know? So keep an eye out for that. I think we should be doing something on Sunday, though, with the Euro boys, with the lads. So keep an eye out for that on HP's channel. Yeah, I need to go get some food or just lie down or just chill out, take the opportunity. All right, yeah, stream break next week. I will return and we'll get started with Final Fantasy 14. Oh boy. All right, I'm out of here. Take care, everyone. Have a good couple of weeks. I'll see you when I see you.